I'm not laying today, but I have moved to the couch.
Thank God. Just a
So
little comfier.
this is the new norm now. Kate has had one podcast episode laying down, and she will never
I'll never sit again
record another episode sitting in a chair again.
until we move into the studio and I have to buy chairs. Ugh, I'm just gonna have to lay. I'm just gonna have to find like a therapist bench, and that'll be my
Yeah.
chair. It's too
Okay,
comfortable.
you have to stop moving the mic away from your
I
mouth
know,
when you're
I know. Oh, I'm
talking.
just getting situated. I'm just getting
Okay.
situated over here. I just had to get comfy. That's the thing about laying down is that it allows you the opportunity to fully get comfortable and like not only with yourself but with your situation and your surroundings. So I really had to just take a minute to do that. I won't be moving the mic as much anymore. So
You can't move it at all.
it's not moving. Don't move a muscle.
Still
I
like a
am the mic stand. Yeah, the mic stand. Anyways, what's up?
I I'm tired. Thinking about my schedule has me overwhelmed.
Mm. Yeah, but
So
your schedule includes coming to see me.
I know I'm very excited about that. I'm excited. You know what sucks though is that we were like, oh, it's time we're gonna sit on the backyard and we're gonna get tan, and it's gonna rain the whole weekend.
No, it keeps changing. Before it was supposed
Okay.
to rain like all week, and then today it was 75 and sunny. Tomorrow's gonna be 75 and sunny, and then I think it's gonna be just like cloudy while you're here so far.
Mm,
But a couple of
okay.
days look nice, so I have faith.
Okay. Okay. We'll pray about it. We'll manifest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't usually have much luck with the weather, but it looks like it's
Mm-hmm.
turning around. So maybe my luck is changing. Anyways, this is another episode of TG1F and F1 podcast with Kate and Nicole. We are your hosts. My name's Kate.
I'm Nicole.
I'm laying down, and this is
I'm
our show.
sitting on the couch, the big comfy couch for me.
Big comfy couch.
Eh,
Yeah, we have to do the clock.
I'm very excited. Yeah, new scenery for me. I was like, you know what? The lighting is so good in this room at this
I
hour
kind
of the
of am wondering why
day.
you haven't done this before. Like why
The
it's taking this
problem
long.
the problem is that usually Carly's home when I record,
Mm,
and so she's usually out here, and I don't want to take over our shared space, our limited shared space. So that's
that's
why you should do it in
fair.
the bedroom. Also, sometimes it's really loud on the street,
Yeah, it do be
and
loud
it's
on your street.
not conducive to recording a podcast, and so it's a little quieter in my bedroom. But we said fuck it today.
Fuck
You guys
it.
are gonna get background noise and all, but that sounds like I'm at the racetrack. There are fucking people drag racing outside at fucking 6:30 p.m.
Oh,
on a Monday.
on a
So
Monday, the audacity.
the
At least save that for
audacity.
Tuesday. But
Speaking
yeah,
of car noises,
speaking
vroom
of car
vroom.
noises, that's what we're here to talk
That's
about.
what we're here to talk
That's
about. It's a perfect
everything we're
segue.
here to talk about. So let's talk about
We
it.
had an off week this week, so no race.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Clarify what that means.
just to clarify, when we say we had an off week, that means that there was no race this past weekend.
Week
There is a race
prior.
this Sunday.
Yeah.
We are back in race week.
We are.
And we're going to China.
We are.
First
And
time in 5 years.
for the first time ever, it's a home race for a driver, which I think is so fun.
Yeah. Well, two drivers, maybe.
What?
Did you not see Oscar's tweet where he was like, my
Oh,
great great grandfather is Chinese,
yes.
so I think this makes me my 1/16th home Grand Prix.
He's so unserious. I love that. No, I
I love
literally
it.
was like, what do you mean? We have another Chinese driver? No. It's just Oscar being stupid. I love it. I love it. I think that counts. As someone
I
who
do too. We'll
claims
give it to him.
as someone who claims my 25% Puerto Rican heritage, I will that's more than Oscar's like 1/160th, but I'm gonna let him have it.
So you'll give it to him.
I'll give it to
We'll
him.
let it slide.
Yeah.
So two home races this
2 home
weekend.
races. He's like, "Actually, sorry, Joe. This is actually about me now.
It's about me now.
This is not actually about you at all. This is about me." 2 home races. first time back in China since 2019, which I feel like is crazy because the last time that F1 raced in China, it was Lando, George, and Alex's first season in F1. Max had only won 5 races total in his career, and Alonso was still retired. Like, look how far we've come. Like, things, how are the turntables in 5
Oh, how
years?
the tables have turned. Yeah, and
Crazy.
it's interesting because for all intents and purposes, this is a new track
Yeah.
for almost all of the drivers.
Yeah.
And uh it's especially new because there's a lot of uncertainty around the Chinese Grand
Tell
Prix
me about
coming
this.
up
Tell me about
because
it.
the FIA did an inspection. They did it late last year, and so they found that there were some areas that needed to be addressed or made flatter for racing to be safe. Um, and it says, the lack of recent relevant data leaves room for plenty of questions for teams, with
Hmm.
China's return being treated like a new event. Um,
Interesting.
so quotes from
Sorry, I'm
someone who
interested
I
now.
forgot to pull from the article says the track was really not used in 5 years. It was just used for one race per year or something like that. So it'll be really green and quite dirty, although obviously they will need to clean the track. In the past it
Who's
was
saying
quite
this?
rough and I forgot to pull the name from the guy who said this. So I don't he was some guy in the FIA, I think.
Some guy. It was just some guy.
They're
Everyone's just
always some
some
guy.
guy.
Yeah. Uh so it will in the past it was quite rough in terms of both micro and macro roughness. We need to understand how aging has gone in the last couple of years.
That's
Not
how I'm gonna
much
start.
data.
That's how I'm gonna start quantifying my life. If it was micro or macro rough.
So basically it's really tough for Pirelli because they don't have good data on the tires.
Mm,
And the teams haven't raced there in a while, and obviously you can get in the sim and race the track, but you don't have a feel for like real track conditions, and
right.
apparently they're just lacking a lot of data around what that actually means. And so this weekend is a sprint weekend.
Sure is.
It's the first one of the season, and they've asked a couple of the drivers what they think about it. Carlo says that he thinks it's really unsafe for them to do a sprint race under these conditions. And Max is quoted in saying that he thinks it's pretty stupid. He says it's not great to do that because when you have been away for a track for quite a while, you never know what you're going to experience. So I think it would be better if we just had a normal race weekend. On the other hand, it probably spices things up a bit more, and that's maybe what they would like to see. But purely from a driving and performance perspective of the sport, I think it's not the smartest thing to do. We'll see when we get there. So who knows? TBD on whether the drivers unionize and veto a sprint race weekend. I
I
don't
mean,
know
we're
if they have
always
that kind
pushing
of
for
power.
unionization.
Always. But apparently people are not psyched about the sprint this weekend because they're just like unsure about the track. So
I mean, no one's ever psyched about a sprint. That's oh God, sorry. I can't become one with the couch this week like I was last week. I'm pretty mad about it, to be honest. But I feel like
yes.
no one is ever psyched about sprints. Like that's like they don't like it. It's
Yeah.
true. It's purely for fans, and even most of the fans don't like it. So I don't know. Probably gets them more money though, so that's why
Just
we still
like
have them.
just like Max said, guess we'll see.
I guess we'll see. I mean, that's all we can do is just see what happens. I have some
Um
fun facts
yeah, tell me about them.
that I would like to share, if that's okay. Teacher, teacher.
Approved.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so some fun facts about the Chinese Grand Prix in history. I think this is like kind of fun because we haven't obviously like we were saying we haven't been to this track in a long time. So, like what are some cool things that have happened here in the past? Usually we just get to talk about what happened the year before, but we don't have that luxury this time. So, Michael Schumacher had his last race victory at the Shanghai circuit in 2006. The Chinese Grand Prix was also the venue for the very first victory of the Red Bull team and Nico Rosberg.
Hmm.
So big track for like monumental career moments for some big drivers and teams. This one I thought was really cool. The circuit layout is based on the Chinese Shang character, which means to ascend, and also gives Shanghai its name,
Oh,
which I
wow.
think
Love
is just
that.
like so fun and cool. Love a little graphic design moment. Am I right, Riley? Back in 2019, actually, so the very last race, the last Chinese Grand Prix was the 1000th World Championship Grand Prix. That's
Oh.
pretty nuts. That's pretty nuts. Lewis Hamilton is by far the most successful driver in Shanghai with like at the track. Not just like
In general.
person that's set foot in Shanghai. He has over double the number of wins of any other competitor at the track with 6 victories in China. So he won in 2008, 2011, 2014, 2015, 2017, and 2019. So he's the most recent race winner there too. He's also
You
the
know who was
only
on the podium in 2019, though?
tell me.
Danny.
Yeah, I see that shirt. We're gonna get
Yeah,
there a
we're.
little bit later in this episode.
I know. I don't want to talk about
Not
it.
to keep it going, but it's just like a weekly update. Okay. Lewis is also the only driver to have taken the fastest lap of the race more than once in China. He has done it 4 times: 2008, 2010, 2015, and 2017. I'm guessing we're going to see Max equal that record of being able to do it here, but definitely not obviously the 4 times that Lewis has. Mark Webber's grid position of 18th in 2011 is the furthest back on the grid a podium finish has come from at the Shanghai circuit. He gained 15 places in the race to stand on the final step of the rostrum, which I guess is the podium. So there is hope for Danny.
Can you imagine? Can you
No,
you and I are obviously not staying up to watch this race because it's on
no,
at 3 a.m.
absolutely not. There's not a fucking chance in the world.
There's not no shot in hell. Can you imagine you and I wake up, we stay immune to all of the spoilers, and we turn on F1 TV and we settle in with a cup of coffee and a little breakfast, and we turn on that race and we just watch Danny
Go from
rip
18th.
and roaring through the grid and he just wins the Chinese Grand Prix.
Oh, wins it. Oh, you're saying he's gonna win.
Well, isn't that what you said?
No,
Or he
just got
just
on the
oh,
podium.
he just got on the podium.
Bottom
Okay.
step of the podium, so third.
Um okay, well,
Either
either
way, I mean,
situation,
watching him win would be pretty crazy. So you're right on that.
we we haven't had a race since this total solar eclipse happened. So like
Ooh,
this could be putting us on a different trajectory and a
we'll
different
have to
path.
see.
So we'll have to see.
I mean, like Max said, we'll just have to see what happens.
We'll have to
Um,
see.
Something for Charles to look into for this weekend. Lewis Hamilton's DNF in 2007 is the only time the pole sitter at the Chinese Grand Prix has failed to finish the race. So we know that that is kind of Charlie's go-to move.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll be trying to do that, break that record. And then Ferrari have had the most podium finishes in China with 13. Mercedes trails them with 12. So very interesting. See if Carlos can pull out another podium. Maybe Charles can step it up for once, and they can keep Ferrari going.
He's got a son to impress these days, so
I can't talk about it. Can't talk about it. Yes, he does have a son now. We'll get to it later. Other big news in F1 in general, kind of speaking on tracks that we've been to, that we haven't been
speak on
to.
it.
The what?
I said speak on it.
Speak, Valentina. The 2025 calendar has been
Is
released.
out.
It's
Mhm.
out. The biggest news is that Australia is back to being the series opener,
Thank
season
God.
opener.
It doesn't feel right. Like it feels
It doesn't. That's I feel like
like I
the
don't like
biggest
that we
part
don't
of
start in Australia.
like Drive to Survive the season 1 was so fun because it was like Australia first. Australians are always so hype. It's like
Mhm.
the drivers love it, the fans love it. It's such a good race to be the first one of the year. So I'm glad that they're doing that again.
Maybe we'll go next year.
You know what? I hope so. It's
If we
about
speak
time.
if we speak on it enough, it'll happen.
I feel
So
like it's about time.
the two girls will be at the home opener, the
The home
opener,
opener. It's actually our home opener.
the opener F1 race next year in Australia, and you can mark our
Just
words.
yeah, we'll see you next year when that
Write
happens.
that
For
down,
sure.
write that
Write
down.
that down. Say it 3 times, spin around in a circle, and hop on one leg. Do it right now.
Something a lot of Ferrari fans are also probably doing is a ritual around beating Red Bull, because Adrian Newey has recently been quoted saying that Red Bull is struggling to find gains in the current regulations.
I'm also struggling to find gains.
So he says basically, in our case, we're struggling to find the gains. If
Feel that.
you, in terms of arrow gains in percent per month or whatever, are flatlining without a doubt. So they're not getting
Interesting.
any better, is basically what they're saying. In the hopes for every other team out there, you could potentially catch up to Red Bull if
I
you
feel
get
like
it
that's
right,
fake
because
news.
they're not getting any better.
I feel like it's fake news. Like, I feel like this is, like, equivalent to when Lewis used to always be like, "Bono, my tires." And his tires were fine, and he would, like, win the race anyways. Like, that's Red Bull being like, "We're not getting any better." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay. Sure, you're still gonna
Yeah,
beat
that
everyone and
that
still
very
stay the
much could be
best."
the case. Yeah, I guess.
So
Or it could be the truth, and things may shake out
or
to be
conversely, it could be the truth. It's a 50-50 shot on that.
consider this
So,
could be true.
Oprah, so what's the truth? Anyways,
Are you ready to talk about it now or no?
yeah, I'll talk about it. So Charles is a father. Clickbait, he got a dog. And
He
it's
has a
so
son.
small. It's so small and it's so cute. His name is Leo. And I could die. I could just
He is
fucking die. He's
really
so
cute.
freaking cute. And Charles posts with him. I actually
Yeah,
was like, I need to be sedated.
it literally looks like he birthed that dog himself with those photos. Like,
Like,
it's giving skin to
skin
skin
to skin,
contact.
yes.
Like, he's got giving put that baby
New
on my
mother.
chest.
Yeah. No, it's like
I'm a mother.
so so adorable. I like need to be sedated so I don't have to look at it anymore. Dog.
Roscoe and Leo content when.
No, literally. Like I'm thinking of the Haas content with both of their little baby daughters in the paddock. Like that's what I need, but like Roscoe and Leo.
Now, here's my question. Here's my question.
Ask it.
Do you think it's Alex's dog, or do you think it's Charles's dog? Do you think they went in together on a dog?
Nicole
Because it's giving when Lance's girlfriend,
got the dog and then they no, because
Sarah,
she
the
always said
golden
that it was her
retriever.
dog.
Okay.
Sarah
Be-
always said that it was her dog, I think.
because like
Because
what
she got him
like
in the divorce
yeah, like
breakup.
famously, I, I love Alex, great. I just, based on track record, I don't feel good about the longevity of the relationship.
No.
And so like I'm just worried, like, is that gonna be her dog? Is she gonna get it in the divorce if they happen to break up, or is it his?
I'll actually die if he has to get rid of this dog.
Yeah, because like
Alright,
what
but
if
I'm
what if
signing the papers that this dog is Charles. It's his.
because
I'm
what if
claiming that to be his now.
he doesn't make it to Lewis at Ferrari season next year and we don't get Roscoe and Leo content?
What do you mean he's not gonna make it?
Because if they break up and it's her dog,
Oh,
that's what
oh,
I
the
mean.
dog. Oh, I thought you meant if Charles doesn't make it. And I was like, okay, we're switching gears here.
That's what
And
I
I
meant.
can't talk about that.
That's why I brought up, like, if it's her dog,
I
then what if
know.
like she takes custody of it
She
and
takes
like
him.
in the child support case and we don't get Leo and Roscoe content, like I'll be
Okay,
devastated.
well, it's giving Paris Hilton is me right now. If you're taking dogs, I will find you. I will find wherever you are and I will shine my light on you. That's me to
Okay.
Alex if she takes this
If
dog.
you ever think about taking that dog away from Charles, I will
I
find
will
you.
find
I
you.
have a very special set of skills.
No, literally. That quote from Paris.
That was so was she talking about dogs or was she talking
No, she's talking about kids. She's talking about people that,
okay,
like, abuse
that's what I thought.
children.
That's what I thought.
No, he's talking about people that abuse children, but I'm taking it into the dog form. But
Cre
that
creative
was, like,
liberties.
life sustaining for me. Like, I was, like, just waiting for a quote like that to, like, keep me going in life. Um, I just feel like we haven't gotten, like, comedy like that in a while, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't gotten, like, such an iconic quote from a celebrity in a long time. Like, that
I
was, like
agree.
I needed that. I needed that.
I'm so glad you got it.
Yeah, I was like,
Now,
"This is
do
for
you
me."
think they're gonna get speaking of Leo and Roscoe content, I'd love for them to make custom little dog jerseys for the two of them
Ah,
to wear around the
stop.
paddock. Like, I would love that.
No, I I need it. I want them to, like, sell them too, like, I want them to sell, like, dog collars with, like, Roscoe and Leo's, like, paw print on them.
Oh my
Imagine.
god. Their little cartoon faces.
I actually, like, I need it. Riley?
It could be called Ferrari.
Ferrari. Like, paw-rari?
Yeah.
Not like
Mhm.
purrari would be good if they had cats.
Yeah.
Ferraroof.
Ferrari. F-U-R.
Ferrari, that's it. We had to storyboard it a little bit. That was a
We had to
whiteboarding moment.
workshop it. We got it. You guys heard us kind of work through our
That was called a
creativity in
riff,
real
and
time.
that's kind of where TG1F came from, except it was way faster than that, was the first thing.
We
Anyways,
got there.
um,
Okay, Ferrari, call us.
Ferrari, please call us, and if you guys use that copyright
TM,
infringement,
TM.
yeah. We've been trademarking a lot of stuff on this podcast and then
Here's the
doing 0
thing.
effort afterwards to actually do it
Here's the thing is that we have been giving people free ideas.
for so long.
And I'm tired of people stealing our content. So if you just like don't want to work with us, at least give us something for free.
I mean, amen.
I
If
just
it's
like
free, it's for me.
I just want to work on a Ferrari line, okay?
That's all I want.
If this Oh my god, I'll kill myself if they actually come out with something like this. Because I know it's going to be so good.
No, it's gonna be bad because they're gonna do it
You're
bad
right.
because they didn't ask us.
It's only going to be good if you guys ask us and I'll make that so. Don't push
100%.
me. Don't test me.
Don't test me. I'll find you. I'll shine my light on you.
Eclipse season is supposed to be really powerful for cardinal signs, and guess what? All 4 of my major signs are cardinal signs, so guess what? I'm
I'm
powerful.
scared. Okay, please I need to change the subject because I'm getting upset. Lewis.
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 I could talk about Lewis. We could rebrand this show to be Two Girls, One Lewis, and all we talk about is Lewis, and I'd be happy.
I I think ultimate goal for this podcast, we can close up shop if we ever get Lewis on this pod.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's it.
I don't think that we'll
We're
ever be
done and
better.
dusted after that for sure.
Um so Lewis, if you ever want to shut us up, you could just come on our pod.
Or give us Roscoe and just have him be like on the pod for a little bit, and then I'll close up shop
So
then too.
Lewis has kind of been on a bit of a reign of terror for me personally in the
Yeah,
past week or so. He's been attending a lot of events
and just
and
looking so
he's
fine.
been looking fine. He's been looking
Fine.
fine. And I'm gonna need him to settle down a bit.
Just stop.
The face on that man, I swear to fucking God. Oh my
It's
god. He's so beautiful.
Benjamin Button.
Benjamin motherfucking Button.
It's just
Now,
so
do
rude.
you think do you think Lewis has had work done?
No, but I do think that he probably gets regular facials. Like I feel like he has like a facialist that he sees
Mhm.
like like religiously every 2 weeks.
Yeah. I agree. And I think if anything, he probably gets fillers. Him and Joe Jonas.
Maybe, maybe. I well, okay. Obviously he got plugs. So like that's he got work done. He got plugs. Which I guess is cosmetic surgery
Yeah.
technically. But other than that, I don't know. I don't even know if he gets fillers.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about how pretty his face is. So,
I mean, he definitely gets regular facials. Like he probably gets like the vampire facials and shit that Kim Kardashian gets. And like maybe, do you think he's gotten his teeth done? He used to have. Does he still have his gap?
he does still have his gap,
Okay, he probably hasn't gotten his teeth done.
I
I
think.
think he's just naturally kind
I
of
think he's
perfect.
just beautiful, unfortunately, huh?
Unfortunately, for him, it isn't a you're not ugly, you're just poor situation. He's just rich and pretty and natural. And that feels kind of sad to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, he does not have veneers, which is fantastic because everyone who has
The
veneers
veneers
is
epidemic.
ugly. W
There's an
Enough with the
epidemic of
veneers.
veneers happening right now.
And I think we've covered this on the podcast already, but again, over veneers.
It's you, but you know who has kind of good ones?
Who?
Fernando Alonso.
Alonzo.
His are actually pretty good.
I don't know. They like seemingly like his Cheshire grin, like it fits his personality. Like I don't know
Exactly.
what
I'm
it
like,
is
I don't know. I think
about.
they're like, it's a value add for him.
It's
But
very
also,
much
his face is weird enough that he
yeah.
could probably still work in a period drama because that's the whole thing. That's the mark of whether or not your veneers are good, or like, could you be believable alongside Keira Knightley in a period drama? Lewis,
Speaking
yes.
of, I'd love to see Lewis in a season of Bridgerton.
I mean, who wouldn't? Who would?
Oh,
Who do you think in
Shonda,
Madrid would be the most believable in a period drama?
George Russell.
Okay, other than George, George is the obvious answer. George is the obvious answer to that.
Fine, fine. I could see Charles in a period piece,
I know, I
like as
know,
a
I
duke.
know.
Like I can see him as like a prince or a duke. I think it would. I think it would
Oh,
work.
literally.
Charles as Mr. Darcy, maybe.
No, he's not like brutish enough.
Mm.
Lewis could be a Mr. Darcy for sure.
Oh,
I'd
for
absolutely fuck
sure.
that up. I'd fuck that movie up. I'd watch it
I'd
every day.
gobble that up,
No, Charles would
swallow it whole.
definitely be Mr. Bingley.
Yeah.
Because I'm so, so sorry. Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley, Rosamund Pike, like top tier god level movie. Perfect. One change I would request. I can't take Bingley seriously as a ginger. I love him, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Also, that
That's
actor looks
fair.
like Eddie Redmayne, but with red hair.
But ginger, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, and this is nothing against gingers. I feel like the ginger crowd is gonna come after
Kate.
me. But
Careful. Bleep, 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 bleep,
like,
beep.
I just there's just something about it. Here's the thing is I think they made his character too like awkward
Mm-hmm.
for to be a ginger. Like they were like, "Oh, ginger, red hair, clown, we're making you funny and silly." And I was like, "This is
However,
too on
his
the nose.
sister,
Don't ruin the ginger community like this." However, the sister, badass bitch.
perfectly cast as a see you next Tuesday. Like
She was like, "I'm not even seeing you next Tuesday. I'm seeing you next Thursday. I'm seeing you next Thursday."
yeah,
But
she was perfectly cast.
I just felt like they
Her
made Bingley a little
gingerness,
bit too like
yeah,
silly, haha, funny.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
So,
about it.
long story short, end of the
I would
day,
love to
Charles
see
Leclerc,
Charles.
Persic, Mister. Bingley.
Bingley. That's my new casting. And Lewis as Mr. Darcy. Keira Knightley has to stay as Lizzie. Sorry. No one else could ever be that.
And
And obviously me as
who
Rosamund Pike's character that marries Mr. Bingley.
who is playing their cousin? Um
Oh my god.
the boiled potatoes are most excellent. What is his name? Who is
I don't know. I don't know. I forget his name, but I can't. That's Alonzo.
it is Mr. Collins.
Mr. Collins.
Mm-hmm.
That's Alonzo to me. Just like a short
Honestly,
weirdo.
Fred.
Not Fred.
The short little bald weirdo.
That's too much for me. Could be Danny
Fred too
because
cute.
they both have receding hairlines.
Hey.
Sorry. I don't what?
Okay. Also, okay, speaking of Lewis, I'm not done yet.
Speaking.
He went to a Romway, I think that's how you say it. Romaway, the luggage company. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Rimwa? I don't
Rimowa. I
know.
think it's Rimowa.
Yeah, okay.
Rimowa. It's Rimowa.
Rimo.
What is it? One of
One of
these
those
days.
silly little luggage companies. Anyway, there was footage of him with Rose from Blackpink in your
Iconi.
area, and the two of them stunning together. Everyone's like, okay, two icons slay. They have so much chemistry. They were just posing next to each other. But who on the grid do you think is like a secret K-pop lover?
Nico Hulkenberg.
Hmm.
I don't know why. It's just like that was the first name that came to my brain. No
Yeah,
thoughts, just Nico
that
Hulkenberg.
that came to you
It did.
like you were being possessed by the spirit
Like
of Nico
no,
Hulkenberg
I was
across
like,
space and time.
Nico's in my ear,
He's
devil
tapping
on
on
my
your shoulder.
shoulder,
It's me.
devil on my shoulder saying I love K-pop. And I know it to be true.
I can also see Oscar being a pretty big K-pop fan. Don't know why.
Okay.
I just feel like he's probably got a few songs on his playlist that he's got on rotation.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that from him. I feel like Pierre. See, here's the thing: is I feel like Kika is into
Mm,
K-pop. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so I feel like Pierre is like trying to get into K-pop.
Sorry,
So,
I had to
well,
add
because
another
we know
little.
that Yuki has said that he likes K-pop.
Yeah. So that's
Yuki,
why I didn't include him because I
yeah,
feel
we
like
already
that's already a
know.
given.
But that's
Yeah.
why I'm like maybe Pierre because obviously he and Yuki are buddies. So like maybe Yuki used to like try to get Pierre into it.
Could be.
Could
All
be.
right. Silly season is kicked off, which last
I
week
know.
I did say when is silly season starting? We've already got one announcement.
We do. And unfortunately, he's staying at the same team, so that doesn't actually get points on our season standings.
So
Unfortunately.
Fernando Alonso is staying at Aston Martin. I don't feel surprised by that.
No, I think we guessed that. Like, I think that when we were talking about this, we both guessed. We'll have to check our Wheel of Fortune episode
Yeah.
to see where we placed him.
Which
But
I think is interesting because obviously last week we discussed Max potentially going to Aston if there was an open seat but
Max?
also yeah
Did I
not
black out during that?
maybe not this year but I think in 2026 because Honda is supplying the engines for Aston in
Right.
2026
Right.
and
Okay.
so I think we've talked about Max potentially jumping ship from Red Bull and going over to
Right.
Aston. So Alonso staying in Aston Martin and also Aston Martin surprise surprise will keep Lance Stroll. They say
I'm
quote
shocked.
his technical feedback is cited as a key strength. Now, they'll keep Lance, but I think the bigger question is does Lance want to be kept?
No, Lance is begging. I forgot Lance was a driver, to be honest with you. Like,
He
every time
has
that
the
we do something where we
easiest
have to think
job.
about all the drivers, like, I legitimately forget about Lance. I feel like he does not care.
He has the easiest job. Like, imagine just being never having to be worried about your job
It's literally
security
called nepotism, and a lot of people are
in
like this.
in a career that only has 20 slots, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm straight chilling, like, I could be so bad, they're never gonna kick me out of this
Literally.
team." I'm so jealous, dude. I'm so
It
jealous.
must be nice. It must be nice.
Bring
I
it
just
back.
think
Must be motherfucking
must
nice.
be nice. Freaking Lance. Okay, Lance and his technical feedback.
So, Lance,
Great.
engineering icon for Aston,
Woman in
fantastic.
STEM, man in STEM.
So, also
He's just a man in STEM.
just a man. We also saw rumors coming out this week that Carlos is in talks to go to Mercedes.
Yes, I did see that. Like, they were like, "Oh, Carlos has apparently signed with Mercedes,"
Mhm.
and it was from, like, the least credible Twitter
No,
account
well,
of all time.
I saw it through you know that Instagram account Grand Prix that has like 2 million followers?
Yes.
They're like always right with everything that they post.
I
They're
need to
like,
know
actually,
who the insider is at Grand Prix.
I like I don't know what their business is. I don't know what account they were. We tried to figure this out, remember? Because they followed us and we're like, what the fuck? Who is this? But they had like
Literally.
one post at the time. I think they had like scrubbed and they were like, new name, Grand Prix. And we were like, who was this before?
Like, I'm like, "Is this Lewis?"
So, yeah. So I don't know. It doesn't feel unlikely, which is why, and you and I have talked before about like when people like don't really talk about the rumors, like as drivers or like as people inside, then we know it's likely true.
Yeah.
So I
Or when
guess
they
we'll
talk about them
see.
too much and they deny them too hard,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Okay, it's actually true."
So I guess we'll see kind of what comes out of the questions this weekend because no shot no one asks Carlos about that.
I mean, I guess
Um
we'll have to see. We'll wait to
fam-
find out.
famously so.
Famously so. We'll just have to see.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the right move for Carlos.
Well, you know who isn't gonna have to be moving because he's actually retiring at the end of this year, or he's retired because he's actually retiring. Charles Leclerc.
Oh, I yeah, really sad to see him going. So,
The drama of the media. Oh my god, there's like all these articles, like our Google alerts went nuts being like Charles Leclerc says he's retiring. Charles Leclerc's retiring. And I was like, "What is happening?" And this is literally the quote. This is the quote when he's talking about like Lewis's age and Alonso's age. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Alonso's staying." And like he's one of the oldest people on the grid. And he goes, "However, I don't see myself in Formula One at 43 as much as I would like to. I want to try other categories, including the 24 hours of Le Mans." My guys, he's 26 and he's just saying he's not going to be in Formula One when he's 43. Like, please be so fucking for real. The drama
they're
is
like, "Well, he's out.
unnecessary.
He's out. He's done. He's
I
announced his
had to do
retirement in
my like
20 years." You're you're
deep breathing
deep
to calm my
breathing.
heart rate down.
Well, Max said something similar this week. They asked him, I don't know, maybe it was regulation change. He was like, they're like, "Oh, something's happening in 2030." And he goes, "Well, I'm not going to be around for that." So he's like, "Yeah, I
That's what I
don't
was talking
fucking
about
care.
last week. I'm
I
like, Max is literally
shan't be
chilling.
racing. I shan't be racing that long." And you know
Yeah.
what? Good for him.
Good for him. You want to know what else good for someone else? We're you. This is our new segment called Yuki Sonoda Defense Squad segment, and I'm just. This is where we throw
If we don't
stones. We stone to death people who have wronged
once a
Yuki.
week,
Yuki
Yuki, send us your
Sonoda.
enemies because we will publicly shame them. If we don't talk about Yuki once a week on this pod, we're being held hostage at gunpoint.
That's
So be
so
worried.
yeah, 100%. And so this week, up for public stoning is Karun.
All right, Karun, get up there. Get up on the platform.
But we're actually not going to stone him because he walked it back. He said he's sorry, and he should be. He apologized. So when he was asked about what he learned from the Japanese Grand Prix, he said, I learned that my apology to Yuki Tsunoda over the Australian Grand Prix weekend was the right thing to do because I said last year that they should have signed Liam Lawson and Daniel Ricciardo and have Yuki as a reserve. He proved me wrong because he was superb all weekend. Yeah, that's damn right.
That's right. And don't you ever
Don't you
forget
ever
it.
forget it. He's sorry and he should be. And that was our public shaming of the week. Our PSOW. Okay. I'm sorry about this next one.
Yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah.
also another thing. If we don't talk about how bad Danny is now on an episode of podcast, we're being held hostage. It's actually that Nicole has murdered me. But so the former Minardi F1 boss, which was the team that Red Bull bought and rebranded as Toro Rosso, which is now V-Carb, was talking about Danny, and people were asking him about like comparisons between him and Yuki. And he said after he came back in 2023, he had that accident after which he was out because of his wrist. He was
He
there.
had an
He fought with
accident.
Tsunoda. It was
Sounds so
just an injury.
dramatic.
But and then he was adding because they basically like who's better, Danny or Yuki, and he was like, well, he was there, he fought with Yuki, but adding 2024's performances to the mix, he gave Yuki an 8 out of 10 rating, deserved, and then
Mhm.
said, but Ricardo can hardly give me a concrete value as an outsider who observes things. Hysterical, an
He
outsider who
said
observes things.
he said he's so bad, I can't even assign
I
him
can't
a
even give him a
number
rating. He
score.
said the problem seems much bigger than injuries. It's more complex. And then I don't know where this came into it, but the Le Mans winner Tom Christensen has doubted Danny's F1 worthiness and said they gave him this chance. They expect more from him. We all expect more. We're used to seeing
Never in
late.
my life have I yelled at a girl like this.
We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for
We're
you.
rooting for you.
He said, we're used to seeing late breaking, overtaking, strong performances. We can't wait to see them, but they haven't been here yet. I don't even want to mention that we saw him struggle at McLaren. And he's like, I don't want to mention it, but I'm gonna anyways.
I just like is did something happen to him that shook his confidence so badly that he was like unable to be
I
that
don't
driver
know.
again?
Is he just like
Because
so
I mean,
regretful of
from
leaving Red Bull?
from personal experience, when I got into that slight fender bender,
Nicole.
it was really tough for me to get back on the road again. My confidence was shaken.
Y'all, she was at an airport and she like kind of ran into someone.
It wasn't me, it wasn't my fault.
So
For
then
legal
why
reasons, it
was it
was
tough to
not
get
my
back on the road? It
fault.
wasn't even your fault.
It's still scary to get into an accident.
Get into an accident. She says there was like
So
3 scrapes on the car.
and for legal reasons, it was not my fault. And to this
You're
day, I
right.
stand by that.
You're right.
So maybe Danny's just going through something mentally.
You know what? Maybe. Maybe he is.
So, and but you know what? If you're going through something mentally, then you have to either figure it out or let it ruin your life. And if he's going to let it ruin his life and his career,
Yeah, he's got to take care of himself. And if
I say as
F1 is
I'm
not
wearing
serving him
my
anymore,
Enchante shirt.
yeah, you are. Howdy.
I mean, I still love my man, obviously. I just
Obviously.
have been sometimes the people that
We
we
just
love
want better
disappoint
for him
us.
in the way that like
Yeah.
I want him to be better and I want him to feel better and I want him to be doing something that's going to bring him joy and not like constant sadness.
It just sucks to know that someone can be and do better
Yeah.
and they're just not, you know? It's
Yeah.
hard. It's a tough watch.
It is. It is. It is tough.
But as I like to say, you can't help people who don't want to be helped. And if Danny doesn't want to be helped, then he doesn't want to be helped.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's really tough for us to end on
That's the tea.
in terms of F1 news. So
Yeah.
perfect. Thanks, Danny. But you know what? Again, like I said at the beginning of this episode, we could see Danny get on the podium.
We could.
He was on the podium in 2019 in China, and we are first race post solar eclipse.
Things
Who's to
could be
say?
changing.
The tides may be shifting. Who's to say? Uh, but I guess we'll see.
We'll just have to see when we get there.
Let's talk a little bit about the girls' room.
Let's talk about the girls. So, biggest thing that happened this week in terms of the girls was the Monte Carlo Masters. Every year, this is a big WAG hotspot. Only two people this year, but in the past, we've seen Pierre and Kika there. George and Carmen are always there, so they were there this year.
Mainstay.
Um, and then Charles and Alex were there. And first of all, I mean, Carmen and George are just like two walking Tommy Hilfiger models. They're just wearing Tommy Hilfiger. And I have some really unfortunate news to declare. And that is that Carmen wore what looked to be a fedora. And I did not hate it. And I said, this woman is getting me to like the look of a fedora. And I hate that.
That's really tough. That's a tough thing to say.
Really tough. But she looked amazing. She had this like sleek little low bun. She just looked so chic as always.
He always
Um,
does.
Charles and Alex were there, and Charles looked amazing. I was quite literally gagged with his little
I
pinstripe suit.
Did you see the videos of him with his cunty little fan?
No?
He had his little fan and he was just like Alex was just sitting there. She didn't have the fan. He did. And he's got his little he's like whipping it and he's just like
Yeah,
it
he's in
was
a full
so funny.
suit.
It was
Someone
so funny.
DM'd us and was like, "But why is he looking like Beetlejuice?" And I was like, "Put some respect on my man's name. He does not look like Beetlejuice." But
Someone sent us a DM and he was standing next to I don't know who the tennis player was because I'm not really familiar with the tennis world. But the guy was very tall and someone was like, "Since when is Charles a short king?" And I was like, "He's always been a short king. He's just not as short
comparatively
as some
taller
of the
than,
other
yeah.
drivers on the grid."
But the
He
big
did look like a
T
small baby though.
he did. The big T that happened at the Monte Carlo Masters is that Lando was there with Maggie Corsiero, who is a model. And it's actually, if you remember, around this time last year, I think there was like all this drama, and they were like, everyone was like, Leno has a new girlfriend. Leno has a new girlfriend. He's driving around with this girl in Monaco. It was
Mhm.
her. And
Yeah.
so they went like official, I guess, like at this tennis match, and they were there together, and people were like, okay, I think maybe this is legit. But there's a lot of drama surrounding her.
Yeah,
People are
lots of
not
drama.
fans, and this kind of came up last year when they were first seen together. So Maggie is, first of all, her name is Margarita. Incredible name. And
Iconic.
she was dating a soccer player, a pretty well-known football player for a while. And apparently there's like all these rumors surrounding her that she's like cheated on her boyfriend like several times, and they broke up, and it's not the first time that's happened, yada yada. So people are like very upset, but I'm also like, okay, guys. They're like, if Lando's smart, he would never go for a girl like that. And I'm like, this is just like a classic
Here's the thing
hero
though, is
worship where
that
I'm like, Lando is a mid 20s, but like millionaire,
I don't
billionaire
think he's a billionaire,
fuck
but
boy. Like, as if he's any better at the moment. There were all those
and
rumors
here's
that
the
he had
thing.
cheated on Louisa, like all these. I'm like,
Mhm.
guys, relax. Like,
Here's the thing too is that they're like, "Oh my god, Lando, she's cheated on all these boyfriends and blah 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 blah." Girls, he has to know that. Like this is not like
right.
new information that he's just learning about. Like I'm so sorry, but like he is an adult for better or for worse. He's
Yeah.
24. I guess 25 your frontal cortex does develop. But he can make a decision
Yeah.
about who he wants to date. And if she cheats on him, he had all of the warning signs.
Yeah. And
I
like
don't know what to tell you.
she's friends with Kika. So like obviously they met through Kika and Pierre. It's just like I'm like also, I don't know. It's a very convoluted scenario, but Lando fans always get kind of a bad rep for being like intense.
Mhm.
And I think we just need to let the man breathe. Let the man make his own choices, make his own decisions. If he gets hurt, he's a big boy and he's going to get over it. Um
Speaking of being a big boy and getting
it is
over
what it
it,
is.
they didn't put this on the agenda, but this just triggered something deep in my mind. Someone did send us something that Lando recently did a DJ set.
Yes,
So he
I
lied
saw
to
that.
us. He
But
lied
do
to
we think
us.
that that just came out after, like, the video came out after he had posted his announcement, but it would happen before? Or
No,
did his announcement mean, like, he's just not pursuing it all the time, but if an opportunity arises.
maybe that's what it is.
I'm not gonna call him a liar.
I ain't calling you a truther.
I ain't calling you a truther. Yeah. No, I don't know. I think he's allowed to say that he's hanging up his DJ hat, but still if the opportunity arises, he can do a little guest spin
He's
on
hanging
his
up his DJ
DJ.
headset.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if a turntable shows up in front of him, he can do a
Presents
guest
himself.
turn, you know? I mean, what was he gonna do? He's gonna go to a Martin Garrix show and not do it? He's gotta leave himself some
Speaking of,
opportunities.
we did not cover, maybe, when was this? I actually think that we haven't recorded an episode since this happened. Rebecca and Carlos were also at some tennis match this past week.
Yes, actually
I
they were
don't
at
think,
Monte Carlo Masters. Yep.
okay, I was like, I wasn't sure if it was the same
Yeah, they
one.
were there.
But everyone was like kind of shitting on Carlos and they're like, oh my God, he doesn't look like he likes Rebecca. And I was like looking at the photos, I was like, it looks like he has a cold.
Yeah.
Like it looks like he can't breathe, honestly. But Martin Garrix was there. Martin Garrix was there.
Martin.
So
Martin.
there I just was like, this makes me feel comfortable. This makes me feel seen. I am happy to know that Martin is around.
He's still among us.
Rebecca looked really good though.
She did.
And
She
I think
really
this is
did.
another situation where people like talk a lot of shit about the wags, is
Yeah.
that people are like, "Oh, Rebecca's hired. Rebecca's hired." And I'm like, even if she were, does that mean that we can talk down about her? I don't
But
know. It's not my
also, I'm
business.
like there are so many TV shows and movies about like PR relationships, and it's such a trope in like romance novels. But I'm like,
Hmm.
"Guys, this doesn't actually happen that often.
Yeah.
Like, no one is actually being hired to be someone's girlfriend. Like,
That's why I'm like, Carlos
movie
doesn't need to
stars
hire someone.
movie stars might like pretend like they might just like a little like live omission, not say that they're not together when like promoting a movie.
Yeah.
But that's about
Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell.
literally. I'm like that was like the, people will do that, but there's not like fake relationships like really happening. Like where someone's hired for this amount of time.
Exactly.
So I don't know. It's funny to me. It is a funny thing.
Yeah,
Also, I'm
it's
like, you
been
guys are
well
getting
over
like
a year
one
that they've been
video of
together.
them like walking out of a tennis match together with swarms of paparazzi in front of them, like everyone videotaping them. Like, sorry, he's not like making out with her as they walk out. I'm like, if someone took a video of like me and Nick leaving a restaurant together to walk back to our car, they would be like, they don't even know each other. Because we're
Yeah.
just like, I'm walking to my car. Like, I don't need to be like holding hands, like licking his face
Yeah, tongues out.
every 5 seconds. I don't need to like be
Yeah.
staring hard eyes into at him all the time. Like, everyone needs to relax. Everyone needs to relax. Anyways, um, that's that.
And that's all we have to say about that. Leave
And that's
Rebecca
all I've
alone.
got to say about that. So I think it's time. It's time for us to hang up our podcast headphones.
Put the mics down for the week.
Put the mics down for the
You
week.
guys are gonna have some fun content of Kate and I this week. Update: if you're listening to this podcast on Thursday, we are going to the grand opening of F1 Arcade in Boston.
Whoop, whoop.
So we're very excited. We'll have some like fun content for you guys all about that. And then we're hanging out for the weekend. So
We're hanging out.
tell us what you want us to talk about, because it's very rare that we get to hang out together these days. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
So just let us know what you want us to do. Dare us to do some things while we're
truth,
together.
truth or dare, Kate Nicole edition.
All right, everyone. That's been an episode. This
And
has
on that
been
note,
this has been TG1F and F1 podcast with Kate and Nicole. The laying down wasn't as good this week, so I'm kind of questioning everything.
well, next episode we'll be together, so we can figure out.
We'll figure out the vibes
We'll
again.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you everyone
Secret
for
third
listening.
location.
We love you. We'll be back next week. But until then, we'll
We'll
see
see
you
you on the
on the
internet.
internet.
Bye.
Bye.